Well, a big entrance for Roger Janssen, nicknamed Gizmo. Don't know where that comes from. Maybe we'll find out in due course. Bit of big beat to get him and Mark McGrath into the lakeside stage area. We're all set then. Remember, first man to 3 sets in the company of the asset, Paul Nicholson, alongside John Rawling.
Well, a couple of debutants here, and with that in mind, it would be no surprise at all if this were to turn out to be a very close match. Roger Janssen here, 39 years old. The Belgian from Leopoldsburg. BDO ranked number 55, and he has that one ranking title, which was the Hal Masters in 2015. And his TV debut at the World Trophy last year, lost to Gert de Vos 6-4. There's Mark McGrath, 48 years old, the Kiwi from New Zealand, ranked number 94. A couple of ranking titles, both last year, won the New Zealand Masters and the Alan King Memorial. His only 2 ranking titles. The 6th New Zealand player to play in these championships. He and Craig Caldwell are those who are there this year. Do you agree with that, Paul? On the face of it, you'd think this was perhaps likely to be a pretty tight scrap between these two.
I think with these two, it's slightly unknown as to what they're going to bring to the table on the stage tonight, so that makes it a very intriguing contest. Mark McGrath has graced the World Championship stage before, but not at Lakeside, and Roger Janssen, well, we'll find out what he's got in his locker very, very soon. But I agree with you, John, could be very intriguing.
So Janssen with the darts. Yeah, Mark McGrath, he qualified for the PDC World Championships at the Ali Pali in 2015, went out in the preliminaries. With no impact there. The Cowboy.
I wonder why he's called the Cowboy, John.
43. Well, it's perhaps a question for him afterwards if he wins it.
Absolutely. He's originally from the UK. That's a lot of Kiwis are.
It's a few years since I've been in New Zealand, but I remember being over there. One of the things that struck me is that half the population wanted to say, do you know such and such a person? You know, if you live near Nottingham, do you know my sister? My sister-in-law lives over in Nottingham. You know, it's that sort of country, isn't it? There's only about 4.5 million people there, and a lot of them do know each other, and of course they're very proud of their British roots.
They certainly are. Kiwis are extremely friendly people. Like you mentioned, he's not the only one in the draw. It's the first time that we've had a couple of Kiwis in the same draw, which is tremendous for New Zealand darts.
3 Belgians competing this time around. David van Bellen and Gert de Vos, the other 2, as well as Roger Janssen.
Belgian darts is in a fantastic place right now. Lots of good players, and it just seems to be coming from everywhere. And Janssen is another one, obviously got a lovely action. Gizmo, as he's called. Don't feed him after midnight.
Spearheaded by the Huybrechts, I suppose, the Belgian darts. The Huybrecht brothers. Both of them playing within the PDC and doing pretty well.
There's been some great Belgian players at Lakeside, namely the spotter's nightmare, Eric Claris. He loved the 96 checkout. Shanghai on 16s. Wow, he was a real cameraman's nightmare. But what a player. Former world master as well. Unfortunately for him, his career was very, very short because of an elbow injury. Left a mark on the game, as Janssen will like to do here.
But not on this particular visit. McGrath will take the opportunity, or have the opportunity, to break the throw in his first leg of this match.
191. Mark, you require 91.
That's a great first start. Now he has options. That's not one of them. He was looking for a 9 to leave double 16. Pulls it down at the 14, which gifts an opportunity to Janssen to take this first leg.
Well, that could hurt 42. Leaves himself double 18 with the 6. Oh dear, he's already allowing a bit of the crowd noise to get to him. Not quite sure what the boos and the jeers are about, but he gets his double 18 anyway.
Belgian players love a boo. They love a boo. But it didn't affect him. That 42 is now in the record books, and that's his first leg on the Lakeside stage.
Looks nervous, doesn't he? But he's got his first leg behind him, and that'll just help to settle him down a bit.
I was downstairs during the session, in between the sessions, I should say, earlier on this evening, and I was talking to Raymond Smith of Australia, who's going to be making his debut this week. And it's the same for these guys. Got to learn to smile up there, enjoy yourself while you're making your debut, because in a flash it could be over. Yes, you want to focus,
59,
but you want to enjoy yourself as well and take in the scene.
Carpe diem, eh? Seize the moment.
Absolutely.
Now that's a handy ton.
New Zealand darts has been represented here many times. Peter Hunt has the most Lakeside caps. Craig Caldwell's making his second appearance.
He made some friends last time around, didn't he, Craig? It'd be good to see him back playing again.
Yeah, I've personally known Craig for about 10 years. I met him in Christchurch back in 2008. Cracking lad, great player. Really has focused himself over the last couple of years to leave his stamp on New Zealand darts and the Lakeside. And he's a tough opponent, is Craig Caldwell. But Mark McGrath, you've got to think that the experience that he gained in his game with Scott Kircher at the PDC World Championships will, you know, make him aware of what it's like to actually play on the big stage.
Tough opening match, hasn't he, Craig? He's playing on Monday afternoon, and he's up against Dennis Harbour, and you never have an easy game against him.
81.
Dennis Harbour's been around forever. Lots of experience, classy player.
Cambridge, the boy, isn't he?
Cambridge indeed.
Oh, that's handy.
125. Roger, you require 57.
So 57 for 2-0 and a break of throw. Tops now. Oh, just the wrong side of the wire.
47.
Well, Mark McGrath gave himself this opportunity. Is he going to use the bullseye? Well, there's the 3. Treble 18 is probably the best target now. Just next door.
Back comes Janssen then, again with the opportunity to go 2 legs ahead in this opening set and to take the first break of throw, and he gets it. Come on, he says. And there goes the double 5, and it's 2-0.
Third leg is Roger to throw first. Game on.
Belgium 2, New Zealand 0. A couple of handy football teams there, John. You'll know about that. Belgium probably a little bit higher ranked at the moment.
I was going to say, I think I'd probably have my money on Belgium.
49.
And New Zealand were decent in...
If you give them the oval ball, they're not too bad, are they?
Yeah, not bad at rugby, those Kiwis. I wouldn't want to run through that wall.
Big lads.
140.
Matt Smith giving you all the details of those football matches coming up for you on BT Sport, including the Liverpool-Plymouth match tomorrow lunchtime. Some intriguing results around the country. My local lads, Lincoln City, what a performance from them. 2-2 at Ipswich.
140.
I was reading the old Twitter feed in the interval there, and you know that Kevin Painter, someone who's graced this stage on a few occasions, he's an Ipswich Town fan. He was not happy with that performance.
Keith Deller's another one. He won't exactly be doing handsprings either, I don't think. 1983 world champion, Keith Deller.
And he's still dining out on that, is old Keith. Why not? Mr. 138.
60.
You know how sometimes in sport, in team sport that is, certain jersey numbers are retired out of respect Or maybe the 138 should be retired because Keith Deller owns that shot.
60.
Right,
Mark, you require
161 then.
161.
It's got to be a 60 first dart.
Wrong side of the wire. So Janssen will come back with 152 to win the opening set.
39.
And that is not what McGrath
Roger, you
wanted.
require 152.
Well, if you're Roger Janssen here, you fancy this. A lovely number. A couple of 60s would have left double 16. But now, all he wants to do is pressure this 122 that McGrath's on.
Mark, you require
And there's only one way to go for this.
122.
Look at the 18s, Mark.
See if he can pepper them. Oh, that's a great dart. Singlet leaving the bullseye. Oh, double 7. Well, I think he thought he was going to be on the bull there. Now he's on double 7.
150.
Well, it's
Roger,
tricky
you
now.
require 108.
You leave the double 7, you want to get it hit because the last thing you want to do is split it. But will he come back? 18 again. Now he wants 2 more 18s for the set.
90.
Very close.
Wasn't
And
a bad-
now it's tricky.
It wasn't a bad dart, was it? Right, 7. Looking for the 3 with his opening dart. Now double 2. And he's into the match. 2-1. The break of throw. And Mark McGrath will now have the darts to square up the match.
Game on.
Well, he's still in the set. This set could be over. Janssen misses a dart to take it out in straight legs, but McGrath kept himself together, said it was tricky. The hardest dart of those two is hitting the 3 under pressure. He did that well, and he hit the skinny red bit as well.
Neither of them scoring as well as they can at this stage. Average is only around the 80 mark, but it's tight, as we anticipated. Who's handling it the better? It looks as though the Kiwi, the New Zealander, has started to settle into this one. Took his time.
45.
And Janssen now giving him a chance.
That's the best thing about this preliminary format. It's still the same as the first round. It gives the opportunity to get settled in the match. We saw earlier today
100.
with Glenn Durrant and Nick Kenny. Nick Kenny came out the traps like a pedigree greyhound and won the first set. But then it settled down and Glenn Durrant showed his class.
He's a good player, Kenny, though, isn't he? He'll be back.
45.
Oh yeah.
He's somebody who you can put down as a name for the future, I think.
Well, Durrant was saying in his pre-match interview he thinks that Kenny will be in the top 5 next year for Lakeside. I wouldn't bet against that after watching him today.
96.
There's Colette, who is Mark McGrath's wife. All the way over from New Zealand.
You think with the way that darts is actually growing worldwide, are there any markets left to crack?
I think he thinks he looks like Elvis. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
100.
He didn't understand that we're just agreeing with each other.
There are 2 voices there. There's a sort of a Yorkshire, uh-huh, and then a Geordie, uh-huh.
Tell you what, give that a beat, it might be a world number 1.
38. Mark, you require 85.
Very catchy indeed. Mark McGrath, 85, miles in front in this leg. Doesn't have to go 20 ball. He's making it awkward for himself, John.
He's looking for treble 18 there. But Janssen a long way back, as you're saying. McGrath's left himself on a 2-dart checkout, 313. Janssen way back, and he can't do anything about it at the moment. Can't find
60.
that treble.
Mark, you require 52.
Nothing wrong with those darts, really well thrown. Lovely grouping, they're just on the wrong side of that treble wire. Is this going to be on the right side of the double top wire? Yes, it is.
Shot in the 4th leg.
2-0 down, all of a sudden it's 2-2, and we're sudden death in the first set to see who goes into the second set in front.
Will Roger Janssen's nerve hold? He's got the advantage with the first visit. And that's a pretty good start. 10-40.
When you're throwing first in set format, in this situation, you're saying to yourself, come on, just get in that first dart in the 60 and let's back it up. And that's exactly what he's done. And Christmas has come early because McGrath has hit a 26.
Yeah, put him under a bit of pressure and didn't respond to it, the New Zealander. That's unlucky, just the wrong side of the wire. Staying on the 20s by the looks of it.
26.
Should he have moved away?
26 followed by 26. You can see the wry smile on the Belgian's face as if to say, I've been let off there. I've hit a 140. He's hit a 26. And what does he do? He lets him back in the leg, but McGrath's not taking advantage.
Some nerves here, Paul. Still advantage Janssen. Here he goes again. Still can't find that treble 20.
55.
Well, how close can you get?
This is the thing about set format. You can play great darts for the first 4 legs of a set, be 2-2, but ultimately you've got to play well in these deciding legs if you're going to progress. Just like Jeff Smith did in the last game, he was really good at the back end of sets.
That's where bottle comes into play, experience comes into play, how well they're handling the pressure up there. There's a nervy-looking first dart. Come on, he says. A raise of the eyebrows.
41.
Suddenly feeling as though he's playing with somebody else's arms. Jitters.
Big exhale from both players, trying to keep their cool. It's a lovely little deflection into that 60.
81.
They're just scrapping with it at the moment. Janssen is still in the driving seat, and all he really needs here is a couple of big red bits, or a 99 will leave him 168 ahead.
The winner of this match gets a game tomorrow afternoon against Scott Mitchell.
Scott Mitchell, the man with the funniest Twitter photo of all week,
Roger, you require
being wished
140.
good luck by a cow in a field. Really did make me chuckle.
He was telling me, Scott, that he's going in for possibly an exploratory operation after this. He's got a bit of knee trouble, and they've done the scan and they've found a screw in there. He cannot remember for the life of him having an accident where it could possibly be there. As I said to him, it must have been an interesting sort of evening when you acquired that.
Must have been a good evening. It'll be a great evening for Janssen if he hits this. There it is. First set to the Belgian.
Roger Janssen.
And right now, he's the favourite to go on and play the man with the screw in his knee.
Game on.
But there's a long way to go yet. Mark McGrath, if he can get himself together, he's not going to be screwed.
60.
He's struggling at the moment, though, both of them. Overall averages only in the mid-70s. Makes you appreciate the standards of those who are able to perform regularly round the ton mark. And in one notable case in the PDC World Championships recently, 114 by Michael van Gerwen. Absolutely staggering standard.
He is a freak dart player, but he's a very nice man. A gifted 2-time PDC World Champion and World Master, of course.
I'm going to be a dad shortly, I see.
He is indeed. Daphne and Michael are expecting their first child, so everybody here at Lakeside wishes them all the very best for their future family plans. And I know he's moving into his new house in about 3 months' time.
There's a photograph somewhere on the wall of players who've performed here. He looks about 12.
Still looks about 12, maybe about 12 and a half. He's just got less hair. There's some absolute corkers in that back room. Maybe at one time this week we should probably go in there and see if people could have a look and identify some of those faces. One of my favourites is Course Stompy from way back.
That's more like now from McGrath. And that's good. First maximum of the match, and an example of what he can do at last, a little bit belatedly. Will the match now start to come alive? Perhaps it'll channel the thoughts of Roger Janssen as well. And it is doing.
140. Mark, you require 76.
So 76.
Something's happening on that stage right now. It's getting a little bit better. For 5 perfect darts in a row. He'll take a 6th. Double 8. Yeah, now he's playing darts.
Mark McGrath.
And Janssen's got to wake up a little bit more, because McGrath has started this set like he wants to play it for the rest of this match.
Injection of quality. Is it going to be sustained?
41.
Throughout their plans of playing in New Zealand and in Central Europe like Roger Janssen does, they're not used to playing these kinds of formats on a regular basis.
140.
Used to playing best of 5 legs, yes, and then going on to play another match. But consistently playing best of 5 sets is a totally different ball game. You've got to think the person who settles into playing a long format game is probably going to win this match. I think out of the two of them, to me, McGrath just looks a little calmer.
$85. $140.
Break at the end of this set. How important it is for McGrath that he goes in at 1 apiece. 2-0. Well, of course, you do see comebacks, but in a relatively short format, first to 3 sets, it would be a big one for him to overturn if he were to allow Janssen to take another set.
Mark McGrath holds the lead in ranking titles. He's got a couple. Roger Janssen's only got the 1.
Roger, you require 150.
Well, he's under pressure on his throw here, and nothing he can do about it now. Just try and put a bit of pressure on McGrath. Could do with the treble and can't
55.
find it, so McGrath poised.
Mark, you require 36.
Poised for double 18, perhaps. That's a lovely, lovely marker for double 18.
18.
But it's not to be, and Janssen can steal this leg.
Yeah, ouch, he says. You could see the look of anguish as that one went awry. Well, he wanted the 25. Topsy's on.
75.
That dart for tops just dipped at the wrong point. Now McGrath's got the opportunity on the other side of the board for double 9. He gets double 9. This set's all about the Kiwi.
Mark McGrath.
2-0.
Third leg, it's Mark to throw.
Have we seen a turning of the tide?
In the last match with the Japanese player Seigo Asada, he came back in the second set.
100.
You got the feeling that that match was going to go all the way, but then Jeff Smith put his foot on the pedal. Just get the feeling that Mark McGrath wants to do the same as Asada, just take that second set and turn this match into a best of 3 setter.
60.
Well, he's every opportunity to do so now. He's got the advantage on his throw. Holds this leg, and it's 1 apiece.
100.
Lovely side-on view of his throwing style.
Contrasting styles here. Roger Janssen has a throw where he's constantly moving. McGrath holds the dart right at the back of that barrel.
It's just how it feels comfortable and how it feels best to you, isn't it?
Absolutely right. When I'm teaching some kids who want to learn how to play darts, First things first, just get that dart in your hand and feel comfortable with it. There's no right or wrong.
81.
Sometimes the more unconventional it is, that can turn you into a better player.
Take a look at the hand of Mark McGrath. Here we go.
There it is, right at the back of the barrel.
100.
And we're not talking about a very short point either. So there's a lot of room between the grip of the dart and the end of the point, which to me says that there could be a lot of movement for that dart in the air. But he's on that stage.
96.
And he's on a finish now, looking for 151, and he's got 6 darts from here because Janssen's not yet on a finish. Nice last dart.
93.
Good thinking.
He's going to come back. Doesn't matter how good you are, you can't finish 186, but you can put a big hole in it. Might go bullseye now. It won't count as a big finish, but it will be a very big slice of pressure
120
on this 58 for the Kiwi. All of a sudden it's for the set, John.
18 he's looking for. Squeezes it in, now tops to square up the match. Double 10.
48.
Oh dear, that could be costly.
60.
Set isn't over yet. McGrath saved himself in the last set to no avail, but here Janssen has tops. Still an open bed.
Game shot.
Very much a closed leg now.
Roger Janssen.
And Roger Janssen still hopes of going into the break. 2 sets to 0 up.
Break of throw though, and now back on the Janssen throw. That's the one that counted, and that's the reaction of the man who threw it.
Well, if you look at the first dart at double 20 there, John, to the right of the section, look at what he did with the second dart that he threw there. The third dart in his hand, he followed the line of it. He knew he had the line right, got the weight perfect on that anchor dart and took the leg.
A big test of his nerve though when he gets down to a potential check out here, because he's got to take it or McGrath has levelled the match.
I think your terminology there, John, is perfect. I think the test of nerve is very apt at the moment, because you find out what kind of player you are when you're under this kind of pressure.
Oh, it's such a factor in the match, isn't it? And, I mean, you've been up there, you know it. All I've done is watch it numerous times over the years, but what goes on between the ears is key.
Sometimes you don't want to know the words that go on in your head. But
140.
It seems easy when you're hitting it, but it's when you're missing and you're asking yourself questions. It's how you react to that situation is where you find character.
It's very easy to say, isn't it? Well, he's got to put that behind him, he's got to forget about that, he's got to move on, but the damage is done and it lingers. Now 161. Can't check out this time, but he's got time on his side. Still do with the treble though, and finds it. Good last start.
That's an incredible last start. With that second one, it looked like he'd blocked the bed. He went to the right of it, and it was as clean as a whistle. And now he's given himself a lot of breathing space and a great opportunity to take this second set all the way as well.
41.
Well, he's got 6 darts, hasn't he? Because McGrath's not put himself on a finish. Still on 196, so 61, and this to make it 2 apiece. He was going for 25, 14 would leave tops, 18 would leave double 18, and he's gone that way.
43.
It's one of those dodgy doubles on the board, double 9. Not a favourite of a lot of people. He may even invest in going 6-6-6 or 10-4, depending on how he feels. But if he's feeling courageous, he might well go straight for double 9.
Well, let's see what he goes for. Is he going to go straight at it? He does. Oh, that's a good dart, a really important dart, and it puts it right down to the decider.
Well, he's turned the screw the last couple of legs. He's played very good clutch darts. Now all of a sudden Mark McGrath is staring down a big disadvantage if he doesn't hold through on this leg here, John.
27.
The Manchester United manager used to have a phrase for it, didn't he? When the old pressure got on. Squeaky time.
$140.
Great start to the leg.
Yeah, we'll see how many gremlins Gizmo's got in that head of his. It is squeaky bum time. It looks like Janssen is holding it together better
60.
than Mark McGrath at the moment.
Yep, early advantage to the Belgian. A deliberate style, hasn't he?
60.
He's settled into his rhythm a bit more, Janssen, now, I think. Looks like he's a bit more comfortable than he was, even though he won the first set. He was a little bit jittery. Just feel that he's playing the better of the two now.
96.
Good last start.
Great adjustment.
One.
And a steady ton is good enough here.
It's a good ton, that as well, isn't it?
Everything is the right side of that 60. It was very brave throwing.
A good time for 180. McGrath, the only man to have got one in this match so far. Not on a finish yet. Now Janssen looking to get himself down to that level.
Oh, it's another great adjustment, just like the last visit. Another steady ton, gives himself a chance. He can come back, clean up this 101, go into the break, and think to himself, only one more set. And I'll be playing Scotty Doug Mitchell tomorrow.
Scott will be watching, I would imagine. He'll be keeping an eye on this, seeing what the potential opposition's up to. Good first start from Janssen. And tops now.
61.
Will he come back? Or will Mark McGrath have that number? 118. Has he got this number? 60 is the first target. He'll stay there. Treble 20. Not to be. So Janssen's coming back for tops
58.
For the set.
Tops he needs then for a 3-2 advantage. Now this is the point where the nerve is really tested. Tops for 2-0 for the set. Oh dear, double 10. Oh, he visibly trembled.
Had the old pull into the 10 there. Happens when you're nervous. Let's see how nervous Mark McGrath is. Clever. Left-hand side of the 20, leaves the 20s open. Open bed for the set.
40.
Not to be. So now it's Janssen who has another chance.
Who wants it? Double 5 then for Janssen. For the 3-2 set victory. Now he's got 1-2-2 or 3-1-1, going 1-2-2, double 2.
6.
That's a big miss.
Big miss.
Mark, you require 20.
Don't think you'll mind me saying that was actually closer to double 15. But Mark McGrath, can you do it? It's a lovely guide for double 10. How much do you want this set? Roger Janssen wants you to miss it. And he does.
No score.
Well, it might look as though this is pretty ordinary when you're watching at home, but it's a vivid illustration of two men who are really under the cosh. It's their debut here. Big moment for them, big moment for the match. Double 1. No.
Score. Mark, you require 20.
It's hard to put into words how they're feeling right now.
They've had 24 darts in this leg already.
Two 10s. He's had a word with himself. Was it positive? Not positive enough.
It might have been a meaningful conversation, but it's not reaped rewards. Double-2 now for Roger Janssen, the 39-year-old Belgian. Still it goes on. At last! At last! An ironic cheer from the crowd. It was an important one, and Janssen, with that, takes the set and goes into the break 2-0 up. It was hard work. Struggling so badly to get the doubles. Janssen now 6 out of 24. McGrath only 4 out of 19. The averages pretty ordinary as well, but Janssen gets the set he needed. Only needs one more now. He's 2-0 up.
In his game against Seigo Asada of Japan, both of those preliminary matches. Before we go back to comms, that's what's coming later. Eileen de Graaf, Rachel Brooks next, then Jim Williams and Tony O'Shea. Well, Chris Mason, all I can say thus far about this one is pressure does funny things to people.
Yeah, exactly that. You can both tell they're both finding the occasion really tough to deal with. Neither have really settled at all, and basically that's all it is. It's just pressure. They're both trying too hard. In this game, it's one of those strange games that you've got to remain focused but not try.
Yeah.
And it's virtually impossible to do at times, especially in a game that both fancy. You know, they both fancy winning it.
Yeah, indeed. Roger, of course, with the advantage. 2-0. Back we go to Paul and John.
So he's just one set away now from a place in the next round. And a match against Scott Mitchell tomorrow afternoon.
Third set, first leg, it's Roger to throw first. Game on.
Well, we know that Roger Janssen's got game because the ranking title that he has won, the Hal Masters, in the 2015 season, he actually beat Scott Mitchell in that tournament. Not just that, but he beat Jeffrey de Graaf and Martin Wolfie Adams in the final. So when you're beating players of that caliber, you've definitely got game.
60.
I don't know what you think, John, but I just feel that Janssen is slightly the calmer of the two. I mentioned it in the last set.
Yeah, well, he's just about edging home, isn't he? But it's a standard which, as Chris Mason was saying, it just shows how much they are struggling. That's more like it. See, that's what he can do. That's his second maximum of the match.
And Chris Mason was so right in the lead up to this third set. You've got to remain focused, but not try. You've got to be natural. And that's what the practice in the back room is all about. It's about getting the nerves out of your arm and taking it up there and doing what's natural.
That's more like it.
140.
McGrath has a chance of a break. And how he needs it. What he'd give to be able to put that 121 away.
60.
So treble 20 will be the first dart he goes for. Now treble 17 for the bullseye. Bull now.
89.
That was the right thing to do.
Decided against it, played the percentages.
Yeah, I think that's the right thing to do there. Just lay up, leave a double that you're comfortable with. Had choices, could have gone 14 for double 18, 10 for tops, 18 it is for double 16, so obviously likes that corner.
32.
Well, it'll all look right if he gets this.
Game
And
shot,
of course it's
and the
perfect
first leg,
tactics
Mark McGrath.
when you finish it like
Second
that.
leg is Mark to
If
throw
indeed
first.
you are
Game
under
on.
pressure, try and leave yourself doubles that you really cherish. He obviously likes double 16. He's come out of this break like a totally different player, but he started the last set really well, John, as well.
83.
Well, he's taken the early advantage in this set and he's in the win-win situation now. He's got to take everything.
There's a lovely angle as well. You can see how Mark McGrath's darts behave in the air. For everybody watching at home who wants to get better at their darts, I would tell you to look at your darts and how they fly. And if you don't want to look, get someone to film it and watch it on your smartphone or your tablet. Because if you know how they fly, you will get better.
Presumably what you're saying is the smoother they move through the air, the better it is. The cleaner trajectory, the better the throw.
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, there's two types of real flights, I believe. You've got the smooth, where the flight doesn't move at all. There's no real spin there. And then you've got corkscrews, like Trina Gulliver. Just look at her darts through the air. They just spin and spin and spin.
140.
Canny 140 there for Janssen. McGrath, though, he gets a couple of treble 20s now, he'll be sitting pretty. Or even a treble 19. There you go.
132.
You called it, John. Really, really good. 126 is a very pretty number. 419s will leave a bullseye.
Well, that's the normal way to go for it. See if McGrath does that. Looking at the 19s, is he? Oh, great dart. Bullseye now for 126. Good effort.
101.
Excellent effort, and had to go for
What
it.
do you require? 160.
Because Janssen on 160, just next door. He'd have hit the 60 there, another one would have left tops. Close but no cigar, but he can put a bit of pressure on this 25 that the Kiwis got left.
85.
Well, the pressure is starting to ramp up on McGrath now. He's going to have a couple of darts, though, to try and get the double he needs. And he only needs one, so that's 2-0.
Mark McGrath.
That's much better from Mark McGrath. And you can see the little bit of bounce in his step. Just feels better. He's just having a little meditation there behind Roger Janssen, looking at the floor as if to say, right, we're doing it okay now. Let's keep this going.
That's a loose opening dart there and a little snarl of anguish, and he says, come on, to himself. And that is not what he required.
Will it be deja vu in this set, just like the last one? McGrath was 2-0 up, failed to take the set, and if he does that again, he'll be walking off stage because Janssen will win the match.
Well, this is the point at which focus, but also has to remain relaxed.
55.
Furious that that one wound up the wrong side of the wire.
To coin a phrase from the great Sid Waddell, a little bit of lateral drift into the 5. It's happening to both players.
43.
Tension again, right at the 4. McGrath simply has to win this, has to take this set, and you'd suspect that he really will be struggling if he doesn't take it in this leg.
Well, Mark McGrath's definitely got the ability. He's been scoring so much better in this set, but it's just a lack of consistency. There'd be a bad score in between two good scores. Janssen now with a lovely 180.
It's his first. His first maximum of the match.
Got a switch.
What a
Lovely switch. Good pass as well.
What a good dart that is.
McGrath's on a finish, but Janssen can still be in the driving seat. If he can pound another treble.
96, not a bad leave, so 128 for McGrath. This for the set. We can't do it now. It's about the worst possible result. And again, yuck.
I echo that sentiment, John. Yuck indeed.
62.
That's a great save.
Roger, you require 96.
Just in case Roger Janssen can't take out this sweet-looking 96. What a great shot. Double 8. Was a little bit left.
Missed that by a little way. So 66 this for the set, keeping the match alive. 12 now is his dart. He's got it for tops. Well done. And he'll be thinking to himself, why on earth haven't I been doing that for some time? He takes the set, it's now 2-1, he keeps his hopes alive.
That was very clinical, John. Impressive. No going to 5 legs in that set. He took care of business. All of a sudden, Roger Janssen's got something to think about.
60.
It's a good first dart. Plenty of a bed to aim at. Fill it up, why not? How about that? Maximum number 2 for Roger Janssen.
He's starting to find his range with the 180s. If he's going to take this game 3 sets to 1, he needs more of those, as they're visibly playing better after the break.
How can he build on it? That's a loose one.
There's the 1.
I couldn't believe where that was coming from. Well, that's not too clever either. Well, what about that? The 180, which was about as good a 180 as you could get, followed by that.
Well, we mentioned the word consistency, and you can't get any more inconsistent than a 180 followed by 21. Wasn't actually in the 20 segment at all with that visit, which will disgust the Belgian. Even though he started this leg with a 180, he's well behind.
And that's another poor visit. McGrath on the throw is the favourite now in this opening leg.
Yeah, pretty good discussion to see who's the best Kiwi dart player of all time, John.
Who's your money on?
I know quite a few. I'm a big fan of Warren Parry. Peter Hunt, perhaps.
He's been the, perhaps be the name who most people would think of, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. Actually got some very good dart players over in New Zealand at the moment. Mark McGrath is a great player, let's make that straight. But Cody Harris is another great player over there. Craig Caldwell, who we will see. Warren French, a great player, good friend of mine, call him the Frog.
60.
Right, so 76. He's got 6 darts should he need them, but treble 20 double 8 will make it in just 2. 56-16 his next target, now for tops, for the opening leg of the 4th set. He misses it.
It's unbelievable, isn't it, that Janssen started this leg with a 180 and he's only on 180 now.
He's now had 15, now 16 darts and counting.
40.
So double 10 then now for McGrath.
Mark, you require 20.
Steadies the nerves. And eases it in.
And the first leg, Mark McGrath.
Get a funny feeling this game's going all the way.
It's Roger to throw first.
Even though Janssen started that leg with a 180, he looks unsure of himself all of a sudden. He's taking his time.
Well, the wheels came off in his second visit, didn't he? He suddenly lobbed a 1 in, which missed his intended target by an inch or more, and it seemed to just throw his concentration.
I think in the second set with Janssen, his rhythm was getting better. And then all of a sudden, the break probably came at the wrong time for him. But you've got to play the game.
99.
You've got to play the schedule.
Those aren't hanging around too pleasantly. He's having to move along the oche to try and create an angle.
41.
Would have been better to have switched, maybe.
I think so. I've seen a lot today where players have been very stubborn on the treble 20 when they could easily go to treble 18 or treble 19 with
60.
an open bed.
Phil Taylor was always the great exponent of that, wasn't he? He didn't used to, never through his career quite got the number of 180s that his brilliant record would suggest, and the reason being that he was one of those who could so superbly work the cover shots.
Well, Phil was always noted for never moving across the hockey. He wanted to stay straight, make sure his eyes were right in the middle of the board, and if he needed a big segment, he would move around treble 17, treble 18, treble 19.
McGrath's moved himself into a good position in this leg. The Janssen throws under pressure, could do with another one. Good darts.
135.
That's a great visit. Gets him back in the leg and gives Mark McGrath something to think about. He's living every dart at the minute.
60.
It's almost like there's an autopsy for every dart thrown.
Analytical. That was an important last dart for Janssen. McGrath can do this, but it's a big ask, 142. His best check out of the match so far, 76. Janssen's best so far is 60. Can he take out 101 now?
I noticed on Janssen's flights he's got the name of a place in Holland called Venray, where he won the Halle Masters. Will he win this leg?
61.
Well, not yet.
Mark, you require 82.
82 for 2-0 now, and a break of throw for McGrath. Looking at the bullseye for double 16, and he's not got it.
That makes it tricky.
He's looking at 16, I think. Oh, he's got double 12 now. Oh, great finish. That was quality, the treble 16, double 12.
Absolutely brilliant from Mark McGrath to rescue that leg. Not so much a slip, but he made it difficult for himself. What a great recovery.
Absolutely. So 2-0 now, McGrath. And the match is looking, as you said earlier in that last leg, as though it's going to go all the way. What an important dart.
What's more, 72 with 2 darts. That was the hard way to do it. Treble 16, a very small segment on the board. Double 12, obviously a little bit bigger, but there was a conversation starting quite recently about the fact that a lot of people these days like to go tops for 80. It's amazing how many people don't go double 18 on 72.
Bigger targets, but it's just how you see it, isn't it? As people say, people who've been up there and done it, it can be a difficult thing to second guess the mind of a darts player.
Very, very true. Very interesting to crack open the head of a dart player in the middle of a match when they're under pressure.
41.
See what's whirring around in there. And penny for the thoughts of Janssen right now, who's staring down the barrel of a 5-set match for the first time.
140.
Good response though. McGrath though still in the driving seat in what could be a key leg. Checkouts are improving, his scoring power's improving as well, and he's moving towards, oh, he didn't need that. I was about to say moving towards the finish, and then he goes and slings a 1.
That 1 is a disaster for McGrath. A 20 leaves him a finish, but he's not punished.
45.
No, pretty ordinary that. Now McGrath, 179. That's not sitting too cleverly, but he stays where he is, and now he does switch down.
47.
Well, it was the right thing to do to switch, to take off that 9 and give himself an easier finish. He can still have 2 cracks of the whip at 132, and he will come back because Janssen can't take the Barneveld shot of 156.
Mark, you require 132.
132 then for McGrath. This for the set. Janssen has got himself into an advantage here. Can't do it now.
He was looking for bullseye double 16, or a 25 at treble 19 and another bullseye, giving himself outs. But now Janssen should have 2 darts and does have 2 darts at tops. Looks very unsure of himself, but nothing wrong with that.
On the third leg.
Well, he had to do
Roger
that,
Janssen.
or it was going to be cheerio so
Fourth
far
leg
as
is
that
Roger
set
to
was
throw
concerned.
first.
And now
Game
he's got
on.
the darts. Clings on in this fourth set.
.36.
That's interesting that Janssen's getting visibly frustrated. I don't think English is his first language, but he's still
58.
frustrated in English.
We've been throwing up there now for the better part of an hour. It's becoming a bit of a marathon.
This is unknown territory for both guys here, John. Not just in the fact that they're playing on the lakeside stage,
140.
but playing for an hour on the lakeside stage. Whole different kettle of fish. The main bright side for the guys really is that they should be used to it by now.
100.
Well, McGrath has certainly improved the further this match has gone. Janssen, I'm not so sure.
This is where the days of competition that they play around the world, long days, long practice sessions, come into fruition. If your arm's getting tired right about now, you haven't practiced enough.
140.
Steady darts again from McGrath. Pretty much taken the throw. Could do with another treble here, Janssen.
66.
Can't find it, so he has taken the throw. It's advantage McGrath now.
Should be his set from here. But we've seen funny things in this match already. McGrath will want to close it out
36.
in this leg. He's making it so hard for himself.
We've seen one 167 today. Somehow, though, the way the darts are going at the moment, I find it hard to see that we're going to see another right now.
85.
But you never know.
Mark, you require 167.
167, only one way, treble 20. First dart. No.
Well, if he'd have hit it, he would have had a share of £5,000, which is the prize fund for the highest
59.
finish, which at this moment
Roger, you require
belongs to Glenn
131.
Durrant.
It's more than you get as a first round exit. 3,250 for the first round defeat. A couple of £1,000 for the blokes who lose at this preliminary level.
41. Mark, you require
Well, if he had hit it and he wasn't a share of it, what do you get if you put Mark McGrath and Glenn Durrant together? You get Glenn McGrath.
Let's see if he can take this out. Double 18. Oh, good darts. A 108 checkout and enough to give him the set. Janssen was 2-0 up, and now McGrath has clawed his way right back into this match. 2 down, and they go into the interval now at 2 apiece. It really is anybody's match. They're playing for a game against Scott Mitchell, whose nerve he's going to hold in what is going to be a deciding set. And you see a disconsolate shake of the head from Janssen as he leaves the stage. It's 2 apiece.
So a deciding set awaits for the first time today, first time at this year's tournament. Jeff Smith, a winner early against Diego Asada. 2-2 it is between Roger and Mark. And when they're done, Eileen DeGraff and Rachel Brooks for the right to play Trina Gulliver in the women's quarterfinals, and then Jim Williams and Tony O'Shea round the night off a little later. As the players re-emerge, I guess, Chris Mason, if there is momentum, it's with the Kiwi.
Yeah, at this stage, yeah. I mean, at early doors, it looked like it was going to be a fairly swift exit, but now he's right in the game. He's the one that will fancy the job at this stage, where Janssen will be wondering what on earth happened. It's
Yeah.
you know, well below par performance from both, but as you expect, you know, making their debut here, it's a massive occasion, and it's just tough. And it's one of those things. It snowballs. You know, when you're playing well, you get that momentum, you get that feeling, you feel good. At this stage now, they're just trying so hard, they just can't shake it off.
Maybe trying too hard. I gather Roger went straight into the practice room. Bit of support from the pals in there. Let's see who emerges victorious as they restart. Back we go to the combat.
Roger Janssen with the darts.
96.
The Dutchman, who started so brightly, now being outscored, and McGrath as well is finishing better, crucially. And I'd certainly echo what they said. At the moment, McGrath looks the more likely.
Certainly does. It was a very likely performance from Mark McGrath that eliminated the current British Open champion to stop him from getting into this tournament. Cameron Menzies of Scotland.
He's probably watching this thinking, why didn't he play like this against me?
I guarantee you Mark McGrath played better than this against Cameron Menzies. Because at the time when Cameron Menzies won that tournament, he was flying. He just seems to have found his range, Cameron. A little late in the season, but next season we might see more of him.
45.
Janssen with the throw. McGrath can hit a couple of trebles here. He's going to be starting to crank up the pressure again. There it is.
140.
You've got to think that the break came at the wrong time for McGrath, because he had all the momentum, like Mace said, with Matt just before we came back.
130.
Doesn't look like it's affected him too much. It might have actually helped Janssen a bit more.
All will be revealed in this deciding set.
60.
Well, chose to stay on that treble 20,
25.
even though he had it pretty much hemmed in and hadn't got a big target to go for.
Let's not forget, whoever wants to win this match has got to do so by 2 clear legs in this set, unless it's 5 legs all and then it's sudden death.
157. Can't be done. At least it couldn't be done after that first dance. You get the point.
Not on this occasion.
Roger, you require 98.
I've seen this finish a couple of times today. Don't second guess yourself, Roger. You wanted double 16, now you've got to hit it. And he does. Good thinking, great execution.
Canny check out, wasn't it? Double 19, a tough one, and decided to go the alternative route. And when you get the double 16, it looks good. Miss it, and people would have been thinking to themselves, well, why didn't I go for it straight off?
That's best double on the board, double 16.
It is when you get it.
Absolutely right.
Plenty of the other players watching on. There's Richard Veenstra, semi-finalist last year.
Semi-finalist, current Europe Cup singles and doubles and team champion. Was talking about him earlier this afternoon as a dark horse.
Good player, isn't he?
Very, very canny player, to quote you there, John. Someone who just gets up there and throws.
I use that word to make you feel at home. It's a northeastern word, isn't it?
That's what we call Kevin McDine. Someone who is from the northeast of England, just like Ryan Joyce, who played extremely well today. He was also making his debut.
60.
Ryan Joyce heading for a match against Martin Adams. Wolfie in the next round.
I guarantee you Martin Adams was watching that match.
41.
He's going to have to be on his game if he's going to beat Ryan Joyce. Very impressive performance earlier on today.
Decides to switch
59.
and finds the treble elusive, and he's not on a finish yet.
When you're on 3 or 5, you've got a couple of choices. That's a good miss right now. And why did you switch? You hit
91.
15, you go 2 treble 20s, that leaves you a finish. You go to the 19s, you can't leave a finish. Poor mathematics from the Belgian. Bad decision making. Could cost him now because McGrath is back in the skinny red bit.
95.
And looking handy on 87. Be a good time for Janssen to get 140. Well, that's a good dart.
100. Mark, you
87
require
then to square it up.
Treble 17 will be the target. Treble
Good.
17 is the target.
Good dart, eh?
Double 18.
69.
So 114 for Janssen to go 2-0 ahead and take it against the throw. This would be a real kick for McGrath. That's not sitting too cleverly. Oh, now tops.
94.
You can't say he didn't have a chance. He gifted himself the opportunity to go 2 legs to 0 up in this final set.
Double 9 is required. And he gets it for 1 apiece.
Second leg, Mark McGrath. Third leg, it's Roger.
One chance missed from the Belgian to get that 2-leg gap that you need in this last set.
What an important dart. An understated reaction, but McGrath inwardly would be thinking yes.
100.
Well, at the moment, these guys want to play aggressively, but try and keep their emotions in check so they can get over the finish line.
$95.
It's not just your scoring ability and your nerves that get fried when you're nervous, but I'm puzzled by the decision-making of Janssen in the last leg when he had the 305.
Well, lack of concentration, surely.
Yeah, pressure just makes you make mistakes, and that was a mistake.
He should have been trying to get himself onto 170.
Yeah.
And by going downstairs made it an impossibility.
Just got to give yourself more opportunities to finish legs off. You can't do that on things like 171 and 169, 168.
100.
Got to do your maths, got to get it right, and
Well,
give yourself the opportunity.
That's put McGrath on a finish, 161.
100.
Fortunate with that last dart.
161.
So 161 for 2-1 and a break of throw. Not this time.
Might go bullseye now to leave a 2-darter, and does.
Roger, you require 146.
Some people like the 19s here, but Roger Janssen is staying conventional. It's not a good result.
So the break of throw beckons here. Treble 20 for double 18. Great dart, 2 darts at it. That's a good marker. And he's taken it. What an important dart now. And he is now a leg away from a place in the first round in that match against Scott Mitchell.
Undoubtedly the most impressive visit of the match. 96 checkout in 3, a break of throw, and it's in your hands, Mr. McGrath. You can win the match in this leg.
And Roger Janssen, when that dart went in, he almost looked like a balloon with the air escaping from it. Suddenly the belief just wasn't quite there anymore. How much has it affected him?
100.
It's not just how it's affected him here in this match, but when you're 2 sets to love up, how will it affect your future performances and your state of mind?
81.
That is if indeed he loses the match, of course.
There's Wesley Harms. Well, your money's certainly got to be on McGrath at the moment.
100.
Always stood to be a tight match, this, but the Kiwi has the advantage. Been playing for an hour and a quarter, including the break.
60.
Well, Mark McGrath has lost the throw, and we're about to find out what his mathematics are like. Because on 302, if you don't go for 18s here, then you've made another mistake.
60.
Well, let's see what he's going to do. Looks as though he is going for 18s. Oh, how wrong you can be.
See, now he can't leave a finish.
100.
That's a great visit from Mark McGrath, but it leaves a bogey number. Who's to say that Janssen here doesn't get a big score and checks out? And Mark McGrath could have had a shot for the match, but now he's gifted, and I say it again,
he's got
gifted.
away with it.
Yeah,
He's got away with it because that was a poor visit from Janssen. Nerves taking their toll, and McGrath now had 6 darts from 162, and he's tightening his grip as he went for the bullseye with the third, and he can almost touch it now.
it's in his hands, and it was at the beginning of the leg. Got to think though, Scott Mitchell is the next opponent, and he'll think, yeah, I fancy this. But now, does McGrath fancy 57?
We'll see. There's the 17 tops now for the match. That's a decent marker. And he takes it out. Mark McGrath, having been 2 sets down, has beaten Roger Janssen. Celebrations from his supporters, from his family. Mark McGrath travelled all the way from New Zealand for this on rankings. He was the outsider there, and now at last a happy smile. He's been pretty poker faced through that game, but he came from behind in a real jittery battle between 2 players making their debut here. Roger Janssen has made he's out of the competition. Janssen is out, and Mark McGrath, by the narrowest of margins, by 3 sets to 2, takes his place against Scott Mitchell in that first round match tomorrow.